Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request this time for B McB. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And the reason I laughed in that, I had to, because I'm talking about The Spirit from 2008. And hey, like every single film out there, there are people who like the film. Every single film you think of, there's going to be fans and there's going to be non-fans. Just how it is with every... This, I thought, was blue dogs for quarters, nickels, and dimes. It blew a balloon out of a mime's ass and then made a fucking animal balloon of it and then shoved it back up his ass. Thankfully he was so silent that no one noticed. The Spirit sucked my soul out through my pee hole. I never knew much about the comic book. Will Eisner did it. To be honest, I don't think a lot of people know the comic book. Like, does anyone even know The Spirit today? People barely knew it back then. Nowadays, people are like, what the hell is The Spirit? So any little bit of interest people had, this movie kind of killed it. But I mean, it's like a lot of those stuff. I mean, hell, Dick Tracy. Do people talk about Dick Tracy nowadays? No. The Phantom, The Shadow? No. And that's the thing, is that when Batman came out in '89, you had all these movies that tried to capitalize on the old school comics. So then you had Dick Tracy, which was kind of successful, I think. But then you had even lesser known ones like The Shadow and The Phantom, and they didn't do anything because most people didn't know, at least general audience wise, they didn't know what they were. Batman, people know. The Phantom, some guy in a purple suit, and I actually don't mind The Phantom. The Shadow I'm not a fan of, but I would say The Shadow is still much better than this movie. And that gets back to this. This was done because Sin City was a hit. Will Eisner passed away. Frank Miller knew Will Eisner. Someone said, hey, Will Eisner passed away. Maybe his character bring into a film. Frank Miller said no. But then he changed his mind and said, you know what? I don't want anyone else to screw it up. Even though he was the one to screw it up. And you could say he kind of killed any interest in it because this was 2008. It's 2022. Like I repeat at the beginning, who the hell thinks of anything of The Spirit nowadays? How many people out there have actually read the Spirit comic? Exactly. So Sin City, which I do like, was a hit. Frank Miller was a co-director, but I don't think he did really that much on Sin City. I think Robert Rodriguez was more of the driving force. And even like Tarantino for that one scene. I think Frank Miller was allowed to hang around and, you know, throw some ideas, and then Robert Rodriguez directed it. This kind of shows that Frank Miller is not really much of a director. And also, when this film came out, it was a complete utter bomb. Understandably so, because again, no one knew what the hell The Spirit was. When they looked at the film, they go, okay, I think there are some people that thought it was just a ripoff of Sin City because of the look. And when Sin City had that look, it was new and fresh. When you have another film do it, it's just not as fresh. It's not as exciting. It's not as unique because you've seen it before. And this movie is just awful in terms of acting, in terms of, it's like trying to be Batman meets Sin City meets fucking Bugs Bunny. And that's a bad, weird combination that only a unique specimen can make that work. Because you have a lead guy who's trying to talk like he's Batman. The whole film has that CGI Sin City look. And Bugs Bunny, I mean, there's a fucking scene where Sam Jackson, who's the Octopus, beats up the lead guy with a goddamn toilet because he says, toilets are always funny. That's in the fucking movie. That's in the film. Sam Jackson beats the shit out of the guy with the toilet because he thinks toilets are always funny. The other people in the cast, you got Eva Mendes, you got Scarlett Johansson, you have the captain, I forget his name, he was one of the cops, he was, I want to say Forrest Whitaker's partner in Stakeout back in the day. They were like the other cops who were messing with Emilio Estevez and Richard Dreyfuss in the Stakeout movie. And I feel like, well, Matt, you haven't gotten to the plot. What the hell am I going to say about the plot? You have your lead guy, which I don't know what else. I guess he was on this TV show called Suits, which I never saw. And maybe it's not him. Maybe it's just the way he was directed to act this way. He's doing a narration talking like he wants to fuck the city. Or like, as he's talking about the city, he's ready to have an orgasm. The city. I love this city. It's so good. It's so scrumptious. It's so... I'm like, just fuck the city already. Get a manhole, stick your dick in it, and pump, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. Just fucking fuck the city already. Whether in a phone booth, over the phone, window, wherever the fuck you want to do it. Just fuck the city already. Have your goddamn orgasm and calm the fuck down. And the acting just so corny. You got Sam Jackson going way over the top. You got Scarlett Johansson having as much personality as a block of wood. So some would say that's normal. Eva Mendes, I liked Eva Mendes. Her character knew our lead when they were kids and her father was killed. And then one thing leads to another makes her hate cops and go into a life of crime. So it's like she, not exactly, but like a wannabe Catwoman. Just our lead is like a wannabe Batman, which I know is stupid to say because it's based on a comic back in the day. But you know what? Maybe if you had a different writer, because this stuff is just goofy and silly and ridiculous and not as funny as they thought it was. Sam Jackson, every 5 minutes, is wearing a different outfit. At one point, he's wearing Nazi shit. I don't know, maybe think he's going up for Hogan's Heroes. I don't fucking know. Colonel Clink, Fink, Mink, I don't know. And there's one point he dressed up like a samurai just because. Just because. And it makes me go, was this meant to be a parody of superhero films? Is it meant to be a parody? Because the movie feels like it's trying to be a parody, but it's too stupid to know that it's a parody. And it's obviously going for ridiculous shit because of the toilet fight scene. And like it's like a Bugs Bunny fight. Like, they're in the mud, and Sam Jackson picks up this big old thing that hits our lead in the nuts. And the lead sucks. The lead... And yeah, I don't know if it's the actor's fault, but the way the lead character, it's... His power, he's hard to kill. Yeah, so's John McClane, but... I don't call it a superpower. But no, it's literally, he's hard to kill. He gets shot, blah blah blah, he'll heal up. But he sucks at fighting. He sucks at battles. He gets hit in the nuts with this big old wrench-looking thing. And then gets the shit hit down with a toilet. The dialogue, I'll be learning ya real soon. What the fuck does that mean? I'll be learning ya real soon. I literally had to go back and go, did I mishear that? No, I'll be learning ya. I'll learn you first. What the fuck does that mean? Are we just making up fucking phrases now? And also, maybe it's just me, but whenever our lead guy narrates, there's like this weird electronic thing to his voice, like post-production. I'm like, why did they do that? And also with the narration, I got to a point, I'm like, shut the fuck up. I know, you want to fuck the city. You want, you know, I don't sit on a telephone pole and, I don't know, use an electrical line to sound yourself. Don't look up sounding. How do I know that? Well, there's this one girl. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to... There's these henchmen that they have that are clones, are really, really stupid, and the name like Pathos or what the fuck? Like at the end, one was called Adios, and one was called Amigo, and they're very stupid, and they're all bald clone henchmen, and they like smiling, and they're always smiling. Yes, yes, yes. Even if they die, they're smiling. That joke got old real quick. Like, Scarlett Johansson is in it. She works with the Octopus. And not Doc Ock. And Sam Jackson feels like just being a wannabe Joker. If I understand, in the original comic, you never even saw the Octopus. Eva Mendes plays Sand Saref. I know that's the name of the comics, but that's the name, Sand Saref. So anytime the guy kept saying sand, it kept reminding me of Attack of the fucking Clones. I don't like sand. And the movie, it's not really a story, it's kind of just a ramble. Just like this review, so it fits. This review's a ramble, just like this fucking movie's a ramble. It just rambles along without a structure and without really a flow to it. And it's kind of like just a series of events until you get to the end. I mean, the Spirit doesn't really come off as much of a detective. He doesn't really come off as much of a fighter. He doesn't like using guns. Anytime a woman is near him, she like ready to melt and suck his cock. But then Frank Miller's like, this is a feminist movie. Whatever the fuck. It's trying to have goofy humor. Like, there's a point where Eva Mendes accidentally pushes him out of a building, high-rise. He falls. His cape hooks into something. He's trying to swing to an elevator, and his fucking pants fall down. As he swings to the goddamn elevator, his fucking pants fall down. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Might as well have the goddamn Benny Hill music as your theme. Benny Hill or Pee-wee's Playhouse. And they're less silly than this. So, I almost want to say it looks cheaper than Sin City, but I don't know if that's really fair to say. Again, maybe Sin City is one of those things, it works once, but only once. Because if you try to see it again, it's just less... How do I put it? It's just... You've seen it once, so now it's not as effective, it's not as awe-inspiring, it's not as... It doesn't seem as cool once you're kind of used to it. I don't know if that makes sense. And again, I just think Frank Miller, the way he directs scenes, and I don't think it has the energy gusto of Robert Rodriguez. And also the cast. You look at the cast of Sin City 1. Bruce Willis, Mickey Rourke, Clive Owen. You got, like, Rutger Hauer. You have an insane cast in that. Here, Sam Jackson, Eva Mendes, a lead guy you don't know. Scarlett Johansson was not that known here. This is before her Black Widow Marvel stuff. A guy I remember from Stakeout, but I don't know how many people know the Captain. Like, not nearly an all-star cast. So it makes me wonder why they thought this would be a hit. Okay, here's a property barely the general population knows. I mean, I think the general knew Sin City, heard of that more than The Spirit. Then this cast is not nearly all-star like Sin City. You don't have a lot of name recognition to bounce off of people. I know it's not like Mickey Rourke was an A-list star when Sin City came out, but a few people are like, oh, I remember that guy, or their dad or their brothers. Like, hey, I remember him. Not really the case here. And again, the movie just goes from one scene to the other, and then it gets to a bit where our lead gets captured. They melt a kitten, which I thought was just a bit much. For a movie that's so silly and goofy and ridiculous and stupid, I thought, again, melting a kitten was a bit fucking much. Just saying. And even the finale is pretty much... the whole MacGuffin is this thing that either deals with Hercules, because they keep saying both, and this blood, and if you drink the blood, you're immortal, and Sam Jackson wants it because he wants to be a god, but he says, well, if the spirit drinks this... So you keep thinking that maybe like the spirit will drink it, and then that's when he really goes into full form. Because I don't know much about the spirit. I don't know what the spirit can and can't do, his comic book stories. So I don't know. Maybe if you did that, that'd be against the comic. But it makes you go, if this is what the comic is, it makes me not want to read the source material. That's kind of what this movie does. It makes you think that the source material is lame as fuck. Now, maybe it's not. In fact, I would say probably it's not. But that's the thing, when you make films like this, it makes you go, wow, the source material seems like it's a piece of shit. Because you're just viewing a movie that's a piece of shit. So you think it's all a piece of shit. Because the end is the lead guy just getting shot a few times, blasted back, a bunch of cops in helicopters, and this is what I'm talking about where it looked cheap. That's why I say I don't know if the rest of the movie is fair to say, but this scene with Sam kind of shooting with these big old guns and like these CG helicopters, that looked really cheap. That looked like not the best of green screen material compared to stuff in Sensei. Sensei just looked more vibrant, and I think maybe just Robert Rodriguez at that time, just a Desperado from Dusk Till Dawn, he had more of an eye for the camera compared to Frank Miller. And then Eva Mendes and the captain's trying to fucking remember. Sam Jackson gets shot. Just like there's this rookie lady. He blows up a bit of Sam. Then the captain shoots a bit of Sam Jackson. And then the lead guy's still alive. He was wearing like type of body armor, so it wasn't fully dead. He puts a grenade on Sam. Eva Mendes saves him. Sam blows up. But it doesn't matter because by the end, this finger is still alive and goes up to Scarlett Johansson. I guess for a sequel, because there were 2 sequels planned for this. As of why the hell would anyone want to see a sequel after seeing this movie? Oh, speaking of which, there's one random scene I forgot about where those henchman clones, there's a bit where Sam is like in this laboratory, and it's like a foot with a little henchman head flopping around, and Sam just keeps going, that's weird. Isn't that weird? That's so weird. I would say that's so fucking stupid. It's like a movie, I don't know, smelling his own farts and thinking it's rainbows and sunshines and Skittles. No, when you fart, it doesn't smell like Skittles. It's not a fucking rainbow you want to taste. Fucking. So then, him and Eva Mendes part ways. And even though this girl saw that he kissed Eva Mendes, then he turns to go, you're my girl. Or something like that. Then the girl's like, Mr. Spirit. Wow, she's that fucking easy? Okay. Yeah. And then once again, he gives fucking speech about how he wants to fuck the city or something. The city is my life or something, and I. And he looks at the camera. Am its spirit. Well, he's looking at the camera, and then goes off, and I'm like, just corny acting. Like, they made the lead seem so corny and goofy, and like, why would you want to follow this main character? There's nothing cool about him. There's nothing, at least based on the movie, I should say. Not the source material, the movie. There's nothing cool about him. Again, he doesn't do much for fights. He doesn't use guns. He doesn't use much detective skills. He fucks up, or he's hanging with his goddamn pants down. Or he gets shot a lot and thankfully gets close enough to put a grenade there. And the music, I thought it was really lame. Like, you look at the music in Sin City, it's really striking music. Here, I was like, at times, like, I'm just trying to be like a Western, or what the fuck it was trying to do with the music. I thought the music did not fit the film at all. Just silly, ridiculous, annoying bullshit. Which, again, just rambled along, like I said, like this review. So, yeah, this movie fucking sucks. It's dog shit. It's definitely one of the worst films of that year, 2008. And makes me fucking want to puke day low. So, with that said, I mean, as much as I don't like Sin City 2, A Dame to Kill For, I would still say that's better than this. And Frank Miller never directed it again. I mean, again, there was Toss It 2 sequels that went down the tubes. I think there's also talk of Frank Miller dealing with Buck Rogers. That went down the tubes. The studio that helped, one of the studios that helped finance this, I don't know if they went immediately belly up or close to belly up, because they lost tens of millions of dollars. Because for some reason this movie, they put in like $60 million or something, and I don't even think it made $40 million, maybe barely made $40 million worldwide. And again, its budget was $60 million. And again, you just say killed interest in the spirit, because not a fucking person talked about the spirit. Again, like those films in the 90s that, I liked The Phantom, but The Phantom didn't do anything. You don't really hear anybody talk about The Phantom except, that Phantom 2040 in the future, that cartoon. But, anyway. It's funny, I read somewhere that someone was at a Comic-Con when footage of this film was shown. And it was Comic-Con, and they said, in their point of view, they showed the scene with the toilet, and that line, "Toilets are always funny." And the way the guy described it was, there was silence. And just like a laugh. Okay, you guys laugh. But it was silence. And maybe there's like a couple people going, I mean, the publications would go, yeah, it was on fire in Comic-Con, but again, I believe a guy who was there and has no gain in it. I'm like, yeah, that probably, there's probably people go, oh yeah, we're gonna say this so we can Frank Miller, but yeah, if you're watching that scene, I'd be silent as well. That'll be like, fuck, what the fuck is this, Then I'd be kicked out, but oh well. C'est la vie. So with that said, fuck the spirit. Just like the guy wants to fuck the city so much. Go have your orgasm and go to bed, like everyone else. And then get up and get something to eat. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Later.